everyone. In this video, I'm gonna give you guys a nice little guide on life, on what you want in life, on what life's purpose is, and on how to accomplish the life's purpose. Just living a fulfilling life. When you're going to be 70 years old, when you're 100 years old, when you're 120 years old, whenever you die, whenever you're old, you're gonna look back at your life and think, I regret nothing. That should be your goal. You need to look back and say, I did everything I could. You know, this was the best that I could do. I did everything that I could. I lived my best life. I regret nothing. That should be your goal with life. That's what you want to say. You don't want to look back into a life of regrets, of missed opportunities, of sadness, of stress, of bullshit. You don't want that. You don't want to look back at your life and wish that you created a legacy for yourself. Wish that you had kids. Wish that you had a community. Wished that you lived healthier, so now that you don't suffer. How do we accomplish this life? Well, first, we got health. Okay, health is the most important thing. Health equals life. Okay, guys, health equals life. Your life is your health. When you lose all of your health, you die. You lose your life. Okay, so life basically means health. All right, you need to understand that. And how do we achieve health? Well, the number one most important thing for your health, most likely, is going to be getting enough nutrients. Like, for a lot of people, this is going to be the case. This alone will be the case. Getting enough nutrients. This is the number one problem of the modern world. Now, I will be honest. Some people's problems isn't this, but this is the most prevalent problem in the world, not getting enough nutrients. So, lots of you, almost everyone watching this video will have this maxed out. Okay, if you're eating a ton of red meat, even if you are eating seed oils, bro, if you eat enough red meat, you eat organ meats occasionally, you drink raw milk, you eat, even if you eat cooked red meat, you will accomplish most of your, you will accomplish like 95% of your nutrient goals, even, even eating like a cooked carnivore diet. Like 95% of your, well, maybe 90 because of like trace minerals in the soil. Well, whatever, you get what I'm saying. Getting enough nutrients. So what do we do for this? We gotta max out all the nutrients, guys. You gotta eat lots of red meat. Red meat, it should be ideally should be where most of your calories come from. After that, there is chicken, which is far less nutrient dense, but still it's meat, right? There's eggs, should be pasture raised. Always get the highest quality that you can. Okay, don't go crying in the comments saying, "Oh, but I can't get grass-fed, pasture-raised, unvaccinated, non-antibiotic, non-parasite cleansed, fucking holy cow meat." Like, dude, it doesn't matter if the cow was fed spring water and grass. Like, it does matter for the nutrient content. If you can get something like that, that would be crazy. Like, if the cow drank spring water, that would be insane. That would be crazy. If you can get that, if you know a source for that, let me know too. But if you can't get that, the red meat that you can buy from the store is fine. It's just, it gets 80% of your nutrient goals done. It's not that big of a deal, especially red meats. With chicken, with eggs, it's a bit more. It's like 60% or maybe 70% or maybe 50%. I don't know. Depends on the quality. But yeah, it's not that important. However, I do advise that you don't eat stuff like farmed salmon. It's not that bad. Okay, like it gets exaggerated sometimes. But if like I don't eat farmed salmon, that's what I'll say. I'll eat farmed chicken if I have like absolutely nothing else to eat. I will eat like boiled chicken. All right, that's something that I would eat. But if I have absolutely nothing to eat, I would rather skip a meal rather than to eat farmed salmon. You know what I'm saying? Like I would rather skip that meal. Well, if I was gonna starve or gonna eat broccoli, I would still eat the fucking salmon. That's just a fact. But you get what I'm saying. All right. For nutrients, red meats, eggs, dairy, the best quality that you can get of all of this, and seafood. Seafood, you need to eat seafood. You have to eat seafood. Um, 50% of cooked carnivores are still iodine deficient, even though iodine is not heat sensitive. So even if you eat all red meats, a ton of red meat and shit, still you may not get enough iodine. So it's arguable if it's better to supplement or to have iodine lacking in your diets. That's debatable. I would suggest that you don't turn yourself into a lab rat like clavicular and you just eat seafood and get it from a natural source instead of fucking being a lab rat for all these chemicals, right? But I would say it's probably better to take iodine supplement than to be deficient in iodine. Like I will say that. But why do that, right? Why pick either option? Just eat seafood. Okay, just eat a lot of seafood. Um, yeah, so that's for nutrients. If you can tolerate it, fruit seasonally, more than fine. And this is very important for everyone. Spring water, try spring water. Uh, you will love it probably. If you don't love it, if you hate spring water, then okay, fine, whatever. But try it. If you love it, why drink anything else other than like fruit juice and milk? Why drink regular water? Spring water is great. Tons of minerals. I hate regular water. I always drink spring water. If I, well, I mean, if I have a lot, I will even make my bone broth with spring water. Also, you can eat bone broth. It's cooked, but who cares? It's not a fucking religion. Bone broth is delicious. Humans have been making bone broth for as long as they have been making tools. The first tools were used to make bone broth. Alright, so it's not bad. It's just a lot of collagen and minerals. Not claiming that there are any water soluble vitamins in it. Obviously, there are not when you cook it that long. Yeah, this. I think this is about it for nutrition. Yeah. So nutrition, these getting enough nutrients is one part of health, but there is more. Um, Eating enough nutrients is important, but also not eating poison is very important too. Okay. Now, which one is going to be worse? If you eat poison but still get all the nutrients that you need, whereas if you don't eat poison and get, but still don't get, wait, but can you even eat? Can you even eat non-toxic foods uh, that are going to be lacking in nutrients? You can't even do that. That would be like a sugar diet or something. Whatever. Like malnutrition is the worst thing that can happen to you. Like it's getting enough nutrients is more important than avoiding seed oils and all that garbage. So yeah, make sure you get enough nutrients. This depends from person to person too. By the way, for example, I'm like genetically, epigenetically, call it whatever you want. I'm extremely unadapted to not eating enough meat. Like my ancestors probably did eat a lot of meat because like when I don't eat meat, uh, I get malnourished very fast compared to lots of people. It's very bad. So it's going to depend on person to person. Some people can just not be that malnourished, even though they don't eat a ton of meats. They will still be malnourished, but maybe not notice the effects as much. So it can depend on person to person too. But they will have other issues, of course. You can never cheat nature. We are all humans. None of us are adapted to digest cellulose. None of us can produce B12 in our guts, right? None of us can do these things. Um, yeah, not eating toxins. Very important. Don't eat seed oils. Don't eat vegetables. Don't eat anything that tastes like shit and anything that didn't exist like back in the hunter-gatherer eras. Just very simple. Avoid pesticides. It's not that difficult. Avoid all these man-made chemicals as much as you can. Again, as much as you can. If the the shit they fed your cow was sprayed with glyphosate, you can still eat that meat. Like, what else are you gonna do? Fucking die? Like, what's your other option? Die? Like, if you can avoid pesticides, avoid pesticides. If you can avoid EMF as much as you can. Again, don't go crazy like that. Like Saul Goodman's brother from Better Call Saul. You guys watch that show? Don't go crazy like that guy covering your walls with aluminum foil and like making everyone ground themselves. Actually, that's not a terrible idea. Grounding is a good idea, but yeah, if you watch the show, you know what I'm saying. Don't be fucking crazy, right? Do the best you can, but like don't go out of your main way of living a good life for something simple, right? Um, Avoiding toxicity, yes. Avoid all medicine. All medicine is pretty much poison. Most of it, 99% of it is poison. Especially avoid it if you're breastfeeding. If you have a baby in your belly, don't let anyone give your, especially babies or pregnant wife or breastfeeding wife, any medications whatsoever. None, and I mean it. I mean it. None. Zero. None of it. None of that is acceptable. Um, okay, avoiding toxicity. Sunlight is very important. Make sure you get enough sunlight. And there are lots of copers in the primal community who think if a Scandinavian man who has the Scandinavian phenotype, blonde eyes, straight off from Agartha, pale skin, blonde hair, blue eyes. If this man eats like a ton of cholesterol, he's like a raw carnivore, and like he goes to sub-Saharan Africa, he goes to Middle East. These people have the delusion that this man cannot get skin cancer from the sun. No, he can. Sun can damage you, obviously, fucking obviously. Like, are you stupid? Are you stupid? Why do those people living in that area have dark skin to protect themselves from the sun? Like, are you fucking stupid? Why do you get tan? Why do you get tan? Because you only need a certain amount of sunlight, right? And if you live on the right location on Earth and you eat the correct foods, then this is no issue. If you live where you're genetically supposed to live and you eat the right foods, the sun can never be an issue for you. It makes no sense for it to be an issue. So you don't gotta worry about that. But if you're a Scandinavian living in sub-Saharan Africa, well, you can have some issues. Maybe don't be in the sun 24/7, or use one of those homemade sunscreen things that like Paul Saladino makes with like natural ingredients. And if that helps, you can use that. I don't know, but yeah, just live where you're genetically supposed to live. Don't go. I mean, don't be a sub-Saharan African living in Scandinavia too. You're not gonna get enough sunlight. You're just not gonna get enough sunlight no matter what you do, even if you stand in the sun all day. You're just not supposed to live there. So live where you're genetically supposed to live. That's important too. But it's lower importance on the like the sunlight, sleep, diets. In these categories, it's a bit lower on the importance spectrum. So keep that in mind too. If you live in Scandinavia, but you're from Middle East, Africa, don't be too worried to go back to like your country. If your country is like war torn, it's the starving country. Like obviously, don't go there. Getting healthy food is more important, and living a good life is more important. So keep all that in mind. But if you have the option to live the same quality of life in at where you're genetically supposed to live, just live where you're genetically supposed to live. It's just what you're supposed to do naturally. All right, what else? Getting good sleep. Good sleep is very important. You gotta sleep enough. First of all, you gotta sleep enough, and second of all, you gotta sleep at the correct time. Okay, you gotta sleep. You can't be going to sleep at 3 a.m., man. I do it sometimes too. And it's terrible for your health. It's not good for your health. All right, but like don't go crazy over it. If you gotta do some things, you can stay up once in a while. Like just try do best you can. Be sure that you will live your best life just doing the best that you can. Don't go stressing yourself. Like I said, don't go stressing yourself because you couldn't get spring water fed cows. Like it's not that big of a deal. Don't worry about it. You did the best you can, right? Have this mentality always. And for health, sleep, sunlight, diets, very important. All of this and lowering stress. Now, lowering stress is a bit like a wider thing. It also includes like having a good love, having good community, stuff like that. Not living in a war torn shithole, not having in a being in a toxic relationship, not having a toxic community. This can be your family, your friends, or just your government, your country, like whatever. Just toxic people around you. All right. So you gotta chill out as much as you can. You do the best you can. You're as healthy as you can be. Things will happen or they won't happen. Like just chill. Okay, you're never gonna accomplish anything stressing yourself. Trust me, guys. Like stressing yourself, you will never accomplish anything. You will never have a good life. Right? Keep that in mind. Stress is for situations where you're like fighting another human over like death, right? You're like fighting another human in like a fist fight with another human to death, right? That's when stress is useful. Not when you're trying to find, not when you're trying to assess if a girl likes you or not, not when you're trying to be in a community. That's not when stress is good, right? So apply stress to the correct situations, like the physical stuff, right? That's what stress is for. That's why you start shaking. That's why you start getting, flushed in the face. It's blood flow, neurotransmitter activity, right? All of that stuff is for physical activity, not when you're trying to talk to a girl, not when you're trying to find a community. So keep all that in mind. Now I'll talk about community or love. I'll talk about love. Well, your best chance of finding love is probably being in a community, right? You're not gonna find love off Tinder, man. That's not gonna happen. Like you'll find maybe some one night stands. Maybe I don't know. I don't think online dating is the right call for many people. If you're like a Chad, but I mean, if you're a Chad, you most of what you're gonna find on Tinder is still gonna be shit. But if you look very good, if you're very tall and good looking, Tinder can be okay. Tinder can be good because it will give you many options. But for the above average guy, I'm not even talking about the average or below average guy. For the above average guy, the Tinder is not going to be the best place for you to waste your time on. Instead, being in some sort of a community and meeting girls off there, that's a better idea. Or maybe just cold approaching could work. Just just try, man. But you always gotta be chill. Keep that in mind with everything. Um, yeah. When you find love, what you wanna do first is get that person on a good diet. This is going to be easy if you're a man, and if you're a woman, if you're a female, if you're a foid watching this, right? Don't go trying to convert men to do something because it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be more difficult, certainly. So your better option is probably to find someone in this community, and you are lucky because the this community is like the ratio of men to women is like 100 to like 5, bro. Like there are 100 primal raw meats guys for 5 primal foids, you know, for primal girls, for 5 primal girls. So your ratios are very good for the woman here, but for guys, bro, trust me, you're not gonna find a girl who eats raw meats. Even if you do, like it's just very difficult. Like I said, the ratios are like 100 to 10 or 5. It depends on which primal community. For me, for my community, it was like 100 to 2 or something like that. There were like 2 girls on the server, or wait, 3. Was it 3? Something like that. Anyways, so that's not your best options, and as a guy, as a guy, you can definitely convince a girl to eat healthy. That's not very difficult to do, unless you're like fucking stupid, which I which I don't think most of you are. I think most of you are above average intelligence, at least most of you, not all of you. Some of you are fucking retarded. I'll say that. Some of you are absolutely fucking stupid, man. Sometimes it just drives me crazy. Sometimes. Anyways, so what you wanna do when you get love? Uh, as a girl, you should be getting love from someone who is already healthy, since there are more healthy guys in this community than healthy girls. But if you're a guy, and this video is relevant for guys, what am I even talking about? No girl is watching this video, anyways. They're too busy eating their avocado toast, drinking their Red Bulls, right? Putting on makeup, right, boys? Right. As a guy, you should just find a girl who's not too brainwashed. Like, I mean, if you're going for a girl who identifies as like a polar bear or some shit, some fucking stupid shit, that can maybe be an issue. But most of the time, you're gonna be able to convince the girl um, to be healthy. If she likes you, she will be healthy. That's just gonna happen naturally. She's gonna follow your footsteps, right? So yeah, you should first probably convince her to like eat cooked meat, right? Don't push her to just eat fucking raw liver. Just give her tasty stuff. Just feed her a lot of. Make sure she's nourished first of all. Like I said, that's the most important thing. Then cut out the toxins from her diet. Then maybe you can get her on like a very very good diet where she's eating even raw liver, tons of raw fish, something like that. Then the second thing you want to do is to get her um, to have a kid with her, because you want to do that as early as viable. Whenever it is viable, you should do it. Don't wait for it. Don't wait to have kids. Why would you do that? It's the purpose of life. Like, what else is there, man? What else is there in life? Just surrogate activities. And I'm gonna get to surrogate activities actually. Wait, let me just I will get to this in a bit. Surrogate activities. Um, but yeah, like this is the meaning of life. Okay, you gotta have kids. That's what you want from life. You wanna pass on your genetics. You wanna have offsprings. You wanna see them live healthy lives. Don't be fooled by goatis. You can't have fucking 10, 20 kids. Not in this fucking economy. If you have the money, sure, go for it. If you have the resources for it, yeah, go for it. But most of you are not going to be able to take care of 20, uh, 15 kids. That's not going to happen. All right. Have as many kids as you can. Have them as early as you can. Make sure they eat the best foods. Make sure your wife eats the absolute best foods when she's pregnant and when she's breastfeeding. That's the most important period for development for your baby. And make sure that your wife is on a good diet for like a year, at least a year, uh, before she gets pregnant. I would say make sure she's on a good diet for like a year to build up nutrients in the body and get some of those toxins out. Make sure of that. Make sure she's not stressed. Make sure she's safe. All that stuff. Yeah, and that's it for love. And for community, um, I've been getting really lucky with community, man. I don't know if it's luck or I'm just very skilled, but yeah, I got really solid community. Um, I'm really lucky in that regard. I would say be smart when you're picking people. Go to the correct locations to make friends. Like, look, now, I don't want to be the guy who tells people to like get into a good school, but school is actually not that bad in terms of finding community. If you are in a bad school, like a private school where any fucking idiots can enter just with their parents' money, or you're in a public school with the average fucking idiot, look, what are the chances of finding someone like-minded in like a school that is harder to get into or a school that is just for anyone, right? Just statistics. I'm not saying everyone in that school is going to be good. In fact, most of them are going to be fucking stupid. But most of my friends today that I made, like my longest term friends, my most like minded friends, are from primary school. Primary school, where I went to a kids for went to a school for a class for gifted kids, right? You got into the class with an IQ test. You needed to have like 130 plus IQ to get into that class, right? So everyone in that class, like we had no idiots. There still were people who were just not like-minded, but I found lots of people who were very like-minded that I still talk today. That who agree with my beliefs, who I talk to this stuff often about. They understand and they can give insights on this stuff. Although most of them are still not as smart as me, not to ego max, just a reality. But yeah, when you're in a community like that, you're gonna find better people. um, yeah, this is about it for health, love, and community. Maybe there's more to say, but now I'm gonna talk about surrogate activities. What are surrogate activities? Actually, Ted Kaczynski talks about this stuff. What is a surrogate activity? It's just playing video games, right? Video games, reading a book, watching a movie, bullshits like that, imitating natural activities like hunting, gathering, building shelter, exploration. That stuff isn't valueless. Its value is not zero, but its value is low. Okay, low on the list. You gotta have these. Okay, this is the life's purpose. Then you do this stuff to like pass time, to have fun, to bond with your friends, to bond with your love, to chill out and have more health. Okay, it's better if your surrogate activity is something like hunting, right? Closer to nature, where you hunt with a rifle. That's pretty close to nature. Or fishing. Some things like that are very good surrogate activities, but what's better is actually just probably living in nature and like hunting to eat, right? But I mean, that's not going to happen probably. We're not going to go back to the hunter gatherer eras. I know, what a shame, but I would really like for that to happen. No jokes. But yeah, there are good surrogate activities and there are meh surrogate activities. I would prefer video games. I would prefer hunting over video games. If you can hunt, um, probably do that over video games. But uh, don't think like video games are terrible. They're still imitating a natural thing. Watching a movie, watching series, just don't get lost in it. It's just a surrogate activity. If you got nothing else to do, you can do that stuff. Listen to music, etc. Make music, maybe whatever you like. That doesn't physically harm you, right? Sure, you're getting EMF, but that's another reason why hunting is better. Actually, you're also in nature, getting like more oxygen and shit. Yeah, yeah. This is about it for surrogate activities. Oh, and I want to talk about this. Wait, or should I make a separate video about this? You know what? I'll talk about it and make a separate video on this. How about that? If you watched this far, I mean, look, don't watch the video that I'm gonna make about this separately, or maybe do. Yeah, okay, maybe still watch that other video that I'm gonna make because this is going to be important. I just want to give you like a sneak peek here. These are going to be unorthodox methods of healing, right? So, what are the orthodox classic methods of healing? What are they? Diets, like I mentioned here, like I mentioned on health, um, basic diets, sunlight, sleep, chilling out, nutrition, all that stuff, right? But there are also unorthodox methods of healing, like if you have a nasal septum deviation that's making it hard for you to breathe. That's not going to go away if your bones are fully grown. That's not going to go away with diets. That's not going to go away with nothing. You can get surgery for that. You probably should actually. It will improve your breathing a lot and maybe your appearance. Although symmetry is not really that big on appearance, but it's gonna improve your breathing a lot. If you have a overbite, underbites, you can get that fixed with like jaw surgery. If it's affecting your health, if it's affecting your breathing, I would advise you to get it actually for your looks too, obviously, but for your health, very important. Never get your teeth removed. Don't get your wisdom teeth pulled out for no reason. If it literally doesn't fit in your jaw, like if there's no other option, then yes. But just because it hurt a little, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be pulled out. And certainly don't get this stuff. Let's throw a jaw here. All right, this is your jaw. Okay, this is your jaw. Sometimes when like your jaw is too forward, what they do is they cut this tooth out, or your like teeth are too much here. They cut this teeth out and pull your teeth back. Okay, don't do that. You gotta expand the palates, push the palate forward. Like don't do that shit. That shit can ruin your face. So research about this stuff. It's a very deep topic that I'm not gonna get into right now because I want to talk about other stuff. What else do I want to talk about? Oxygen, hyperbaric oxygen chamber therapy. This is going to saturate your blood plasma with oxygen, and it's not natural. But it's not natural to be chronically low on oxygen either. So whatever, who cares what's natural? This can actually work. It can reduce scarring. It can improve your skin. It can improve nerve tethering. If you've had nerve damage in the past, you can try it. If you have a scar from a surgery that's hard to heal, on every issue really, hyperbaric oxygen chamber therapy is going to accelerate your healing. But if you got inner ear problems, I mean, whatever, you're gonna have to talk to doctors before doing this anyways. So like if you have like some ear issue, you can't do it. But if you don't have it, go ahead and try it. It does work. What else? What else? Oh yeah, exercise. I'm gonna talk about exercise now. Like not exercise, but physical therapy. If you had a big nerve damage issue or muscle tear, tendon tear, nerve tear, something like that, and your body hasn't used that for a while, or your nerves got tethered like this to the connective tissue, to the surrounding tissue with connective tissue, you're gonna have to do some nerve glide exercises to remove that tethering, or maybe some very light and unexertive exercises to get that tissue back in its place, to remind it of what it's supposed to do. You're gonna have to do very light movements, not really exercises, but whatever. That's something to keep in mind. Physical therapy, after you fix the initial problem, let's say you got nerve damage from malnourishment, like me, you fix malnourishment, you give your body time to heal, then you do physical therapy to remove the fucking nerve tethering, right? So you gotta clean this stuff out, move your nerves, right, a little bit. Just make sure none of it hurts. Um, so yeah, what else? Oh yeah, and corn and callus removal surgeries. This is most of the time. This is going to be on your foot, like this. This is your feet. It's missing a finger, but whatever. Let's say you got like a corn here, a callus here. Um, Calluses actually will most of the time go away themselves. You don't need surgery. You don't need nothing. But if you got like a neurovascular corn that is deep, I actually had one. Like right here under my big toe, I had a neurovascular corn, which did not go away with the primal diets. So what I did was get like a small scissors. I can't draw scissors. What the fuck? I got like a small scissors and I actually chopped that shit off. It was like a very sharp scissors, and I cut that shit off. It bled a lot and it hurt like shit. So I advise you that you go to a doctor to do it. Mine was probably not the best idea, but I fucking hate doctors and I wanted it to be done fast, right? So I cut that shit. It hurt like hell because it was a neurovascular corn and it was kind of deep, but I would say that it healed a bit on the like the natural human diet. Let's say on the natural human diet, it healed a bit, but it wasn't going away. It wasn't going away whatsoever. So I had to resort to an unorthodox method. I cut it off, and it bled like shit. It hurt like hell, and then it kind of came back, but it was like more dried out and it wasn't vascular, right? There were actually like blood vessels inside it and it hurt more. So it was like quite alive. So I think I killed it first. Then it was like kind of just like a normal corn. So when it was like that, I cut it off again. It bled like shit again, but then disappeared. So yeah, that's some lore drop for you. If you got something like that, you might have to get that removed by a doctor. What else? Yeah, tooth decay. If you got decayed teeth, don't absolutely don't let it rot like Ajonus does. You gotta get your cavities filled. It does. Yeah, they're gonna fill it with like fucking fucking unnatural compounds. Okay, they're gonna fill it with unnatural compounds. If you can get it filled with a natural compound, absolutely do that. Never get mercury fillings. Absolutely don't. No, just no mercury. All right, don't be stupid. Mercury is not supposed to go in your mouth. Like definitely stay away from that. But Like regular white fillings, you can get them. Absolutely don't let, if your tooth has decayed uh, quite a bit, if there is a deep decay like this here, this is not going to heal naturally. That's just not going to happen. You can stop it and you can slow it down severely, but you need to get this stuff filled. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but you're gonna have to get that stuff filled. Don't stress too much about the hormone disruptors that might potentially be released. And not that big of a deal. Losing your teeth, losing your natural teeth, or having to get a root canal later on, that's much worse. Believe me, guys, that's not gonna be good for you. So get your cavities filled if they are deep. If it's like a very small surface thing, like this, you can definitely reverse that stuff. So you might not need a filling in that situation, but if it's deep, you're gonna have to get fillings. Um, what else? There are actually remineralizing toothpaste. While some of these are not natural, some of these can be good. Some of them work. If you got animal loss in your tooth enamel, this is fuck. What the fuck? I can't draw a teeth. Yeah, you know how there is the enamel and there is the dentin, and inside there is the pulp. Right. This is the pulp. This is the dentin, and this is the enamel. Sometimes what happens is if you have a shit diet and you eat lots of acidic foods, you eat lots of sugar, your enamel is going to demineralize. Is gonna demineralize. So you might have to remineralize this, and you gotta be fast about it. So there is no permanent damage. You should definitely drink like raw milk, eat raw meats, drink bone broth, spring water for the minerals to build back those minerals. But there's actually some remineralizing toothpastes. These are not going to be natural. If you can find a natural one, hats off to you. That could be great. But lots of there are ones that are natural and they work very well to restore the minerals in your teeth. So there are good toothpaste actually. While they may not be ideal, they get the job done. There was this one brand. I'm not sponsored. They did not sponsor me, by the way. What was it? This brand has like a remineralizing toothpaste, and it's actually quite good. I used it, and it helps me a lot with my teeth issues. You can use that, and if your teeth are already damaged, like let's say you got a small cavity, even if you're eating natural sugars, it might worsen that cavity. So it's best to brush your teeth, okay, after you eat sugar. If you're eating ketogenic, zero carbs, there really is no reason to brush your teeth. Your breath is not going to smell after your gut heals, of course, but um, if you got like small cavities, it's the best to brush your teeth. Like I said, you can use a natural toothpaste or a toothpaste that doesn't have fluoride or better alternatives, right? Remineralizing ones, those are good. With like hydroxyapatite and shit. That stuff actually does work, surprisingly. Anyways, I'll make a separate video about these healing methods. I'm gonna I'm gonna do a bit more research. By the way, these are all from personal experience. Like I'm not giving anything to you that I don't know 100% works. This stuff is like solid advice. Okay, top tier advice. These healing methods. That's why I'm gonna make a separate video on this. Like with like extensive research, like talking to lots of people, looking at reading a lot of studies. I'm gonna do a big video on that because I think it will help people a lot. But yeah, hopefully this video helps you. Peace.